am the king. I will punish you.
Any man who must say, I am the king, is no true king.
I'm Queen Rhaenyra now.
For many of us, House of the Dragon Season 2 was a nightmare. The show lost the plot and went from the Dance of the Dragons to Rhaenyra and Alicent's rendition of Dancing Queen. The problems largely revolved around a contrived plot where the women were trying to save the realm from destruction while the men wanted to burn everything down. This, of course, was a contradiction to the point of Martin's story about a Targaryen civil war. All of this I've covered in other videos, including a recent one comparing the two shows. Emma Darcy did something recently that further supported the argument many of us have made about House of the Dragon having lost its way. Collider reports that, quote, Darcy expressed displeasure with the fact that female members of the Targaryen family do not carry around any form of weapon, unlike their male counterparts. Darcy explained how having a sword is a functional accessory that helped with filming posture and is something deserving to be enjoyed by everyone, regardless of gender. Before we get into how ludicrous it would be to have Rhaenyra carry a sword, I just want to touch on the ridiculous point Darcy made regarding posture. What Emma said is that the men have a place to put their hands during scenes on their swords, and Darcy has an issue with hand placement? This sounds more like a problem with Emma's acting skills, unless Darcy carries a sword in every role. This whole convoluted gender battle has irrevocably poisoned House of the Dragon. Rhaenyra shouldn't have a sword because she never trained with one. Unlike Arya on Game of Thrones, who went through extensive sessions, Rhaenyra never showed interest in fighting. She's more like Sansa than Arya, and imagine how ridiculous Sansa would look walking around Winterfell with a sword. And it's pathetic, too, that Darcy is starting this contrived issue as if there's some sort of discrimination involved. Now, if this were the story of Aegon's conquest, and they took a sword away from Visenya, who was a fierce, tough woman who actually wielded one, then we'd have a serious problem. And the notion that all the men have swords is just a foolish generalization. The non-warring members of her council don't carry swords. On the green side, you don't see Otto or Larys with them. And the actor Rhys Ifans doesn't complain about what to do with his hands. Instead, he just delivered some of the very best scenes from Season 2. My guess is Emma's upset because of the many moments that Darcy has with Matt Smith's Daemon. Daemon often has a hand on his sword. Dark Sister, which incidentally was once Visenya's sword. He does this because the warrior aspect is central to his identity, just as Otto and Larys are known as schemers. You know, Emma, that's how stories go. Not everyone gets the same stuff. We didn't see the actor playing Tormund complain that he didn't get a dragon. Seeing Darcy this vocal about something so strange helps explain away some of the mess we had in Season 2. If you remember, it was Emma's idea to have Rhaenyra kiss Mysaria in that awkward scene where Mysaria had just finished explaining all the sexual abuse she suffered at the hands of her father. I mean, who among us wouldn't want to kiss someone after that? So paired with Sarah Hess and Ryan Condal's inability to draw the line on departures from the lore that led to the entire story coming down to a secret romance between Rhaenyra and Alicent, it's pretty clear what House of the Dragon's toxic elements are. It's an axis of idiocy. Darcy went on to say that, quote, anyway, next year one hand is going to be taken care of. That's what I want. I want a sword. And I've been really clear about that with Ryan, and I think that's happening, end quote. Maybe when looking in the mirror on set, Emma sees a character that's like Brienne, but that's not what this story's about. She's the complete opposite of Brienne, and the character Emma helped mold in Season 2 is a big departure from the younger one that was played so well by Millie Alcock. The current Rhaenyra is a weak, vapid, and stupid queen with a show pony dragon, too. Dany certainly didn't need a sword, and Tywin just had one when he was off in battle. The only battle the older Rhaenyra was in was when she took on an elderly member of her own council. It was even laughable when Joffrey had a sword, but it fit in the story because it enhanced how unsuitable he was in every way to be king.
That was Joffrey's sword, wasn't it? Not that he ever used it. What did he call it?
Widow's Wail.
He really was a cunt, wasn't he?
And while Joffrey was a terrible person in Game of Thrones, unlike Rhaenyra, he was still a great character. While House of the Dragon was lost forever when Alicent handed over King's Landing to Rhaenyra in the finale, it's clear that Season 3 is only going to get worse. If you enjoyed this one, make sure to hit the like button. If you're interested in more on House of the Dragon and A Song of Ice and Fire, listen to Caraxes and subscribe. I want to thank everyone for watching, and I'll see you soon.